Welcome to the Ron Ash Show with Darshini as a guest.
Hello and welcome to Being with Ron Ash. I'm Ron Ash, your host. We are live and local, national and international on great stations worldwide. For a complete list of our affiliates and showtimes, please visit beingwithronash.com. Today's guest is Darshini In Spirit. Welcome to Being Darshini.
Thank you. I appreciate it. How's everybody today?
Everybody is well. I'm speaking on behalf of the entire world.
Oh, thank you. That helps. Okay. So you've got a special guest today, and we were, obviously.
Yeah, that's right. Anita Morjani will be joining us. She's the author of a book that has been published by Hay House, Dying to Be Me, My Journey from Cancer to Near Death to True Healing. So it should be an interesting show today. I perused the book yesterday and a little bit this morning. And very vivid picture she paints. Leads to the development of many questions in my mind, and also a lot of affirmations of things that I already tend to believe.
Great, and I really think it's far more expansive. That we were talking a long time ago about how people get introduced to this work or the spirituality of our lives, and I think hers is another spearhead. But I was telling you I'd like to share something, if I may. Is it okay now? Great. Okay.
Of course.
All right, so it's a bit long, so be patient with me, but hopefully this will relate to the listeners as they usually do when we're on. So anyway, it's about the gift of our life, and other people and how we live our life too is never really fully appreciated until it's challenged or nearly taken away. A threat is presented in some way, a medical issue, a loss of a family member, finances, whatever it may be. We honestly don't realize how precious people, and for that matter ourselves, our self-worth too, matters until we face mortality. I don't know if you agree with that. Okay, you will be listening to a very special lady today, a very gentle, incredibly gentle soul that I see. And after this hour, Ron and myself, after we had talked, she's undergone a regenesis of not only in her earthly body, but her spirit. Her energy flowed and was woven into the spirit world for a precious section of time, where during her near-death experience, she realized the monumental amount of unconditional love, non-judgmental existence of which souls on the other side exist in, which you and I, Ron, know. These souls, people who have transitioned into the spirit world, died, obviously, and are more alive there than they were here. They don't have that pain, they don't have the trauma of day-to-day living. They don't have all the restricting beliefs they held here too. They want so much to help us and assist us, each one of us, to experience the best and the most fulfilling life while we are here. And of course, I'm not going to discuss the book because she'll be joining you later. But allow me, if you don't mind, this came to me last night, so I'd love to share it with you all. And that is, thank you. I really appreciate this, and of course, Spirit does. So allow me to share some of the information which may assist some of the listeners to understand other lessons about spirit, or whatever you wish to call the next existence, okay? Everybody says, it's different in each religion or belief. Well, I call it the spirit world, as you know, Ron, and I'd like to talk about miracles, all right? Our spirit guides actually want nothing else but to support our growth, and I know you agree with that, Ron. And they assist us with healing of ourselves and others less fortunate than us. They enable us to, in so many diverse and crucial ways, and this is only if we allow them to, all right, which we do tend to get in our own way. If only we're able to listen, all right, and to be aware of all these facts. It's human to tend to be a bit self-opinionated, and yes, I'm guilty of that too. We all are at times. We grow up feeling we know better, and then wham, life, true life, is smacked up against us. We're cracked open, and we start to see what life is really on the earthly plane and what it's really about. We start realizing the fragility of everything. And it's not to have the mentality of how much money can I make, what super car I can show off, right? Etc., etc. But for the lucky ones, well, some people say it's not lucky because we go through a lot of hardship too. We get to see and experience more than just the crack into the spirit world. We are able to interact with them and see how incredibly, Ron, and this is what's so incredible, simple certain things are to attain. I talk about love, connection with others, service, even the day-to-day existence, the mundane, going to work and coming home or whatever, earning the almighty dollar, and being successful in something you love to do, not having a career which you hate, and that you have been conditioned or fooled yourself to believe that this is what you have to do. Spirit helps us with our healing, not only with the physicality of it, but also the healing of our spirit within us. The hollowness some people feel when they are alone, and that's when we talked about a long time about suicide. We forget. We're so independent, of course, we know everything. And then we wonder why we feel so disconnected in the end. Our spirit is with us constantly and non-judgmentally too. We have to learn to not only recognize the miracles in our lives, but to also acknowledge and participate in our own lives. And this is important, Ron, and I really want to emphasize this point. If we wish to receive and continue to experience these miracles throughout our life. Miracles can happen in spectacular ways. Surviving a horrible car crash with only a few scratches. Actually, my mother went through that. I don't know how. But anyway, in whatever form, there are so many ways. Then there are the unacknowledged miracles. These are what I really want to share with you today. Those are the ones that we're not aware of, which happen continuously throughout our lives. The sad thing is we don't even see them for what they truly are. And they're so subtle and not exactly insidious, but really subtle. I can cite, I want to expand on this a bit if you allow me, Ron. Sorry to go on, but this is important. I can cite so many ways that Spirit is continuously giving us miracles in our lives. Miracles manifest in so many different guises. Not so the obvious ways. The ones that, you walk on water deal. I know, don't mean to be facetious, but you know me. And it's in most cases more the slap in the back of the head to get your attention to a situation you're either in or will be going into or through in the future. This jolt of awakening serves us to either confirm our path, path direction, enlightenment, but more of being ejected out of the restricting cocoon of our earthly bounds and beliefs. We become, in the end, a true light and spiritual being, true spiritual being, hopefully through this growth. And I realize, frankly, nearly everybody has had challenges, really fearful lessons in their lives. These could be considered miracles that these horrible and bad events have given us, being put in our lives, are indeed miracles. And I'm not sure if you agree or not, but these really catastrophic events in our lives, in hindsight, admit it, didn't you grow on it? Didn't you learn on it, hopefully?
Yeah, and sometimes it's an experience when somebody who is going through a serious trauma or
Exactly.
a serious illness, where we learn to live our life in a different way, and we learn not to be as restrictive, and we learn to appreciate the moment and the joy that we have. I mean, for me, it was my mother. She struggled with multiple sclerosis for 20 years, and she was in her early 40s when she first came down with the disease, and very quickly she went from cane to walker to wheelchair to being stuck in bed, and and not to commit to worry, because worry is a choice. We could choose to worry, or we could choose not to worry.
Correct.
We could choose to love, we could choose to fear.
Mm-hmm.
And I chose to love, and I chose to steer away from worry.
And
to appreciate the moments that we have here and now.
Exactly, and she was the teacher there, obviously. But and you were pretty young at that time. I mean, reasonably young, right?
Yeah, I was in my early 20s.
Yeah, and for a 20-year-old guy, that's not something that really normally you'd be impacted with. But this is what I'm talking about, are the real events in our lives, and only in hindsight that we see that we've been changed forever. And these are precious lessons. And you turned into a rather humble, changed human being. It really changed the course of your life, because you've seen somebody else suffer. But then there are others. What I'm like. I operate on brutal honesty, not hurtful, but just to being honest. But teaching love in your life in a different way. This is how they want us to learn, is to be taught love in different forms. And you can't, suddenly produce the stairway to nirvana by just meditating. No, it's more interactiveness with life. And I really, and here's something that people could do this weekend if they really want to actually not only acknowledge, but see the miracles in their lives. And that is, of all these, I want you to write down all the catastrophic events in your life, and maybe you won't see, first of all, write down any kind of impact other people have had on you, like your mother, Ron. But also, a divorce or a relationship ending, a loss of a life or a child or whatever it could be. And it doesn't need to be sometimes so catastrophic, but you're going to see a pattern that, it might not happen immediately afterwards, but at least, again, 2020 is hindsight, right? That you'll find that you've actually changed, because it is either followed by something of a growth period, and it usually is 90% of the time, but also a realigning with your life, about life too, of how you see things. So these are what I'm talking about, that we're blessed with the smaller miracles in our life. And if we remember to stop controlling our situations, and you allow Spirit to maneuver events and situations to help us attain anything we want and everything we want, but not every single, but what the candle lesson, we talk about. And one of the basic caveats is, if you don't ask, you don't get. And that's what they want us to do. They want to help us, but we have to live our own life. A lot of people say, oh, pray for me, I want to sell my house. I received an email for that. I'm not kidding. And I'm just thinking, you don't get it. And this person is in the spiritual realm thing. But it's not that way. You ask and you work towards it in your own way. We've talked about this many times. But I'm hopefully just talking, these few minutes, that it has helped at least one person, if not a few people, understand, to really appreciate the smaller miracles in our lives, which really are the ones that get us through life. And the bigger ones that Anita is going to discuss, which we know, it just confirms Spirit is in our life. So I'm sorry to go on, but it really was something that I really love to share with everybody on that one. So.
I'm a firm believer that there are no small miracles. There are miracles of all kinds. It takes no more energy for a huge miracle as it does for what people would call a small miracle. Mm-hmm. Miracles are around us every day.
Yeah.
Where guidance is a miracle in itself. I mean, it's kind of interesting how I came to have Anita on the show today.
Yeah.
I actually was flipping through the channels on PBS, and I didn't see any of her interview or even acknowledge that she was on the program. I saw Dr. Wayne Dyer, and I often like to turn him on when I'm in the living room, and especially if my wife is there too, because I feel it's very important information that I'd like her to use in her development spiritually as well. And a friend
Wow. See, that's not coincidence.
Anita is my mother's name.
Oh,
So
you're
when she
kidding.
started saying Anita, I thought maybe there was some correlation there with my mother. And, as we went on, she started to explain, no, it's such and such. So I kind of basically brushed it off still at that point. The next day, wouldn't you know it, I got a email from the head publicist from Hay House asking me to interview Anita on the show.
Oh, and see the synchronicity of everything, right?
Yeah.
So you just experienced a miracle too, and I think I did too. So
They happen all the time.
yeah, it's just incredible. But it's just, and I called it smaller miracles because people, it's like a speed bump in the road. You can know it's there, but you really don't want to acknowledge it, and you speed on and by. But then, you feel that, oops, the hiccup in the road. But it's so fascinating to see how people are changed. And I just sit in the classes I teach, and one by one they'll say, oh God, I didn't know it was that. And last night I was Pasadena, or didn't actually get to bed until about 2 o'clock in the morning. But it was just so incredible how each one, you could see their light turning on. And they acknowledge, oh yeah, that was incredible. And everything, if you believe, and that's what Anita experienced, is a true interaction, with energy on energy, as energy and energy, as we all are, right? With spirit. And that's why she felt this overwhelming, and I don't want to get into it, but it's just interaction with them. And, I know a lot of people, with the readings I do, can't believe how accurate I am, but it's because I've been able to plug in. But again, we all can plug in, and that's what I'm trying to show people, that it's not a select few, that, that's arrogant thinking. And that's another thing I get rid of. Don't get into arrogance. It's only going to literally, more than slap you in the head, it'll make you, they always say that spirit guides in your life, which are, the ones who have passed on, who choose you, we don't choose them. They love to, the high spirit guides love to use you as the butt of their jokes. And they will put more than a speed bump in front of you, right? Yeah, you've experienced it too, right?